Do you? All right, we're back on. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're back here. Project Director Johnny Skinnendorf. And there he comes, that little guy, Charles. There he is. Yep. All right, let's get down to business here. We have our next guest here. She's going to introduce herself. And then we're going to go through the next two guests. And then we're going to engage with the community as for questions and answers as to what was all brought up. We started with Mr. Cisneros and Preston, Shelby, and the next guest is, and I'm going to give you a quick brief. What we talked about was each one's story, the backing that they had from the business committee, why the business committee or the higher directors, what happens when they push that forward, and the support from the people also, and the community, what happens when that does happen. They gave us a quick brief on what they're currently doing, how it started, and the foundation of it. And we heard 3 stories so far from them, and testimonials pretty much, of what they've been through. And I asked some questions, to each person, and kind of like the peaking points of what kind of brought them to their knees and what made them want to change. And they each gave their feedback on that and their life story, because that's what changes lives a lot of time. You can have all the money in the world, but that doesn't change everything. Throwing money at it. People can help change people. We're gonna get right to it. Introduce yourself and what you do currently, please, and then right into the story, please.
My name is Sheila. I'm from 425 Wadley. My name is Megan Easter. I'm a Sky woman. I'm currently a key specialist at the Healing Center, which is a transitional living home, sober living facility. I started using drugs about 25 years ago. I had surgery and was prescribed morphine, and my appendix had burst, so they left the incision open for 4 months. So I was on morphine for 4 months, and I got addicted to painkillers, and never really thought about it until this last time of treatment. How my use actually began, and that's why I realized that it started out on painkillers. But I didn't use other drugs. I was married to a man for 16 years. He's very abusive. There wasn't a day that didn't go by that I wasn't verbally assaulted or physically assaulted, mentally assaulted, or sexually assaulted. I forced it with this man. I met him in treatment. That's why they say whatever. You don't hook up with somebody in that treatment. I'm going to be told. Well, I soon after I divorced him after one of the worst domestics that I've been involved with him, and he attacked my 16-year-old son. I couldn't have him attacking my children. I care less about myself because the drugs and really care about myself, but when it came to my kids, it was a totally different story. And then him being locked up for 6 months, I had gotten my second DWI, and when I was sitting in jail, I met a lady that was shooting up, and I told her, don't talk about that stuff around me, I don't want to hear that shit. Got really upset with me. We had a few words. I got out, and I ran into her about 4 months later after I got out of jail, and the next thing I know, I was shooting up morphine with her. When I was a teenager, I never thought I would do anything like that, but it happened. It happens easily happen to anybody, and it happened to me. My addiction got way worse. I started getting into cocaine and crack, meth, heroin. I overdosed 4 times prior to reaching out to George for help. Just one day I woke up and decided I didn't want it anymore. I didn't want to put my family through what I was putting them through. I was sick and tired of being sick. I was all alone. My significant other was in jail. My son was on the run. My family didn't want to have anything to do with me. My daughter had told me the day before that she never wanted to speak to me again. I didn't have anywhere to go, so I called the AODA department and I said I need to go to treatment. And I have a half an hour emergency room medically clear me for a detox center. So she got a half an hour to pick me up or I'm gonna run. And they ended up showing up, and because 24 hours prior to that I called and I asked for them to pick me up for detox, and I told them not to send a certain person, and they sent that person. And even though I get along with them real good today, that day wasn't the person I wanted to see. I ran out the back door, and I reached out again 24 hours later. They came to pick me up from an emergency room in Rylander. They said they couldn't help me detox, so they had to transport me to a detox center, and they brought me to the AOD department, and George was there. Him and Lou were there, and they transported me down to Oconomowoc. I was so out of it that I don't remember them telling me where I was going. I thought I was going to O'Connell, so I was thinking I was going to be 2 hours and I'd be in detox. I woke up Sunday. I went in on Friday and woke up on a Sunday. I found my way to the nurse's station, and when I got there, I asked them what day it was. And I asked them, how come I don't remember the last couple of days? They said I'm in pretty bad shape when I checked into detox. I was 117 pounds. My kidneys were shutting down. My liver was shutting down. I was severely malnourished. I was dehydrated. My own blood was toxic to me. They almost had to do a blood transfusion on me. I asked them why I didn't remember. They said they sedated me, and I was really upset about that. I wanted to remember my detox because I didn't ever want to pick up again. And I was hoping that, I'd remember that. But I did still detox for the next 15 days. The 15 days I stayed in contact with George, and I told him I can't go home. I can't go for detox to go home or to treatment. And he helped find me. Him and the AODA department helped find me a facility, put me in. I went to Pathways treatment, and when I left Pathways, I was still mentally unstable. I also have mental health issues. I suffer from bipolar, post-traumatic stress syndrome, social anxiety disorder. So I was on my medications for years, and I couldn't process a lot of things. So I knew that I had to go be put on my medication. And I knew I still wasn't ready to go home. And when Jordan picked me up to take me to detox, I remember him saying something about them opening up a place called the Healing Center. It was a transitional living place. And that he said he would make sure it was open for me for when I got out. I'd have a place to go. And at that time, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to that place. I was thinking I was going to detox and I was going home. But when I sat in detox, I realized that, it was my decisions. I was the one that put myself there. It was my decisions that caused me to end up in a place like that. And I clearly couldn't make my own decisions, so I made sure that I had trusted people around me that I knew loved and supported me, which was my family, and I trusted George to help me make them decisions for me temporarily till I could gain my own footage to make my decisions. But I did end up going to the mental health unit after I went to treatment, got put on my medication. And then I went to that transitional living house. I stayed there for 90 days. And prior to going into treatment and detox, I'd been through a lot of traumatic issues. a lot of trauma, had a lot of nightmares, a lot of flashbacks. I wasn't sleeping very good when I was in the transitional living. I had people were there 24 hours a day, so when I was up 2 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep because my nightmares were so bad. There was somebody there for me. I'd been raped and shot at prior. I was checking into detox by a drug dealer. I had paid for some of the products that I had purchased from him, and he shot at me. I was raped because I didn't have the money to give him. So I had a lot of nightmares about that, and honestly, if I wouldn't have had the treatment center and detox and the mental health unit and transitional living, I wouldn't still be clean and sober today. I'm clean and sober for a little over a year now. And I believe that everybody that I crossed paths with helped me in a real way. George helped me get me to detox. He was there for whenever I needed somebody to talk to. I met Shelby. She came and picked me up from the mental health unit and brought me to healing center. The very first day I got to healing center, something that wouldn't ordinary happen, never happened again. Just happened to happen on the day that I got there. Somebody that shouldn't have been in the facility was in the facility and was acting really aggressively. I kind of freaked out and I wanted to leave, and if it wasn't for Shelby, I probably would have left. So, without certain people in my life, I wouldn't be here today, so I can't take all the credit. But I do take some of the credit, but if it wasn't for everybody, I wouldn't be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She just said she had that 1 year. What she left out was when she first seen me. She's my very first person to help when I started working with AODA. I love her with all my heart. That's my sister. And the thing with her family, she struggled with that in the beginning. And I told her, I said, you just keep doing what you're doing. They have to see with their own eyes for them to forgive you and that wall come down. We just had her 1 year, her and her partner here. They both got a 1 year. We had her daughters put a surprise party on for her. Her daughters were there, her son was there, her parents were there. That's like success of working the program and having a support team there, that it works. It takes time. Yes, it does take time, but you do recover and you do get that bond back with your family. That is why I brought these two with, because they are that inspiration. They keep me doing keep me going. I love them with all my heart. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you all. We're going to do an introduction real quick.
This is Big Ed. Holy crazy.
And I got a question real quick. How long is your transitional going for?
Almost 2 years and a half.
Yeah,
Year and a half.
Year and a half, almost 2 years, because I started in June or July of last year, and that's when we first started picking clients, was in August. But previously, we had to rehab that building ourselves, because the tribe was like, okay, fine, you can have this building, but because it's a pilot program, we're not going to give you a lot of money.
So what was it kind of like a house that was in the garage, right? Kind of?
Yeah, it was.
So you guys had to kind of build it up?
It was a domestic shelter prior to that, right?
We had to paint it, we had to put in, literally ourselves, which was cool, whatever, we built it, it means more than, but, the bathrooms in there, the paint, the flooring, everything. We had to put together the beds, the dressers for those.
Refugee style. That's what they have to do too. They have to start from scratch and go through all the legalities, insurance, things like that too. So,
We got one for men and women.
Yeah.
you know, that was part of that fire last year, that council backed us 100%. You know, we hired on recovery coaches. We got, what, 5, 6 recovery coaches. We got youth prevention.
We have 30 that are not being used right now.
Oneida has 30?
Yep, we have 30 that we sent through. I was supposed to be one of them, but I missed it because I was on a state or something. We have 30 that were trained, and some of them won't took it though. You gotta think about it. You have 30, but some of them just didn't to get the training. Some of them were not kind of using. They were used by them. They have them too. They train them over there and stuff like that. But the behavioral health, what's her name? She was. I haven't heard nothing about her, but she was one of our behavioral health specialists. She was one of the people who trained them. But we have them, and you get certified, I think, to work with Danny Clark, right? Danny Clark and a couple other different places, too, I believe, to go to the people. But they went through the training, stuff like that. And I don't know really what kind of happened. So, I don't know.
Was that, a lot of the people that were in the training, that was the training that I was in this January. There was a lot of members that, because they're certified, they only wanted to come there to learn how to deal with their family that was using. They wanted to learn the different avenues that were available and how they could try to help them without telling them right away that they would have to go out to treatment eventually. So, there is a lot of people, there is about, I want to say is it 30? So, they are certified. There are people out there that, you know, I don't know if they're active. I jumped in it active right away because, you know, I've grown up, I've been involved with every area.
There's more to it though, with that they need like more of training or something like that to be able to use them. Sometimes it's liability too.
Yeah.
You need liability insurance sometimes to
What are they certified in?
As a recovery coach through CAR.
CCAR?
Yep.
Oh, perfect, good. That's a really good program.
Yeah.
I'm certified in that too.
So that's where my certification is in. And then, I started behavioral health on Monday as the first recovery coach for my
So, these other 29 people, what are they doing? Good.
I'm not, you know, some of them are still in recovery themselves. They do reach out. Some of them travel a lot. Some of them have other jobs. We do have a support page, and I gotta admit, I started that one and I really haven't been active on it. I've had a lot of other stuff going on, but we do have a support page where we turn to one another if we need advice in a situation, or that's our uplifting place where we try to coordinate each other.
This is Amanda Drawmill too. She's active in the community a lot. You know, she's there in everything that I do. She is always there, and I give the females to her, and then I work with the males. She called us in to do a funeral a couple days ago. You know, so we try to get involved in every single thing that we can, not just the positive stuff. You know, and there has to be the good and the bad together, which you guys know. You know what I mean? Because you can go to a bunch of positive stuff too, but if you don't want to do the stuff that nobody wants to do, that's what a warrior does. We do everything for the people, not just what we pick and choose, and you know what I mean? And not making excuses. I don't want to make excuses. I have to get it done regardless.
You know, a lot of it is giving them that help with that trauma. You gotta realize a lot of these people that are using, there's some sort of trauma in their life. You know, until they deal with that trauma, it's always gonna be there. You know, like for me, I knew that. I figured it out. It was from that childhood sexual assault. You know, and I'll escalate it from there. You know,
But you figured it out. A lot of times, we're just kind of like guides, I guess I would say. Help them get out of it, and hey, you know, they have to want to help themselves and live again, you know, and fight for their lives. You know what I mean? It's hard.
You know, I was talking to your mom about my son. you know, when I first seen him passed out on the couch. You know, right then and there, I realized that's how my mom felt all the damn time. You know, and I felt that in my heart, and that's when we had that pipe ceremony, that sweat for him. And I told that to my mom, you know, and I sent him to treatment at 16. You know, I was gonna send him if he was gonna go on his own, but he finally came to and said, "I'll go, Dad. You know, I found cocaine, I love it." You know, I said, "Well, you're going today." You know, there's, you know, there's parents out there that don't know what to do with their kids. You know, you can either keep watching them kill themselves, or you can sign them in. You can get a court order to sign them in. As long as they're off the street and they're not shooting that shit in their arms.
Right.
You know, at least they're somewhere safe. You know, they might meet somebody there. They might read something in a book that's going to make them click, snap the hell out of it. You know, just by turning the cheek. That's where we come up with that see something, say something.
Yeah,
You
tell us a little bit about that. That's
what
right.
Stop the deal and start the heal and see something, say something. You know, we started at there. Where the community sees something going on, they say something. They'll send it to me, I'll send it to whoever it is. I don't give a shit. I don't care if they call me a snitch or what. You know, I tell them, I said, you know who's giving these drugs to your sister, and they die tomorrow, are you gonna live with that?
Come on.
You know, or you can say something and save this life.
Yep,
You know,
there we
it's
go,
gonna
right
save
there.
your life.
Yep, that's what we do, man. Breaking that cycle.
Yeah, man, you know, and signing these kids in, these addicts in, do it. Do it. Get them off the street. You're saving their life. I'm sorry, I get fired up sometimes.
Man, that's good though. You know, you're supposed to. There has to be a sense of urgency. There has to be.
All right, I'm Ed. I'm in the process of getting hired on as a recovery coach. I've got just a little over a year clean after 33 years of active addiction. Started when I was really young. I'm a survivor of sexual and physical assault growing up. Found drugs at a young age. Didn't have no worries, no problems on my mind or nothing was dealing with it. Started off with just weed, progressed. Found out I didn't have to deal with anything. Then I found more stuff. I'm not going to go into detail over every drug I've done, but pretty much a lot of them. Been around the table of Narcotics Anonymous quite a few times. Got clean for a while, and then down in Georgia, I was in a wreck with 4 fatalities. It wasn't preventable, so it's not on my record as a chargeable accident. But that really hit me hard. I was clean probably 8 months then, and I just went downhill from there. Hid in the basement for like 6 months after that, just getting high on anything I could. Everything from cough medicine to cover gas. Then I was just going to town, high as hell all the time. Just sum it up quick, I won't get to the whole story. Got clean one at a time and lost everything. Started getting back on my feet. Me and Sheila, we've known each other for years. I ended up running into her, we started hanging out, getting together, going out. And both of us thought each other were clean, even though we were using ourselves, we were hiding it from each other for the longest time. Until we found out that we were using it, and we were just like, fuck, I started using again. And that just was a downward spiral. Between being in and out of jail and in and out of the third floor, dealing with probation, which gratefully I'll be on probation at the end of October. But my turning point this time was toward the end of this last relapse. I was sitting all the time trying to die. I wanted to die. I wanted to overdose. I wanted a hot shot. I could take care of my life or not. And July 18th of last year, we were on our way back to picking up, and we got pulled over. I ended up getting thrown to jail for a bit. Getting sick, I've never been so sick in my life that I'm sitting in jail. Between that and depression, my depression will even get worse. The thoughts are going through my head. When you're depressed in jail, you know those thoughts that go through your head. But sit talking to her on the phone every once in a while. And then all of a sudden I called one time and somebody else answers her phone. This is my turning point. They're like, she's overdosed, we gave her Narcan, we're trying to bring her back. It just made me think, man, there's loved ones out there that are dying from it. We were dealing to our community. It's really becoming a recovery coach and stuff like that. I want to get back to my community that helped tear up. But just trying to do the best I can.
questions and answers from each member from the Stone Lake AODA Transitional House and advocates, and we got so many titles. But man, thank you so much for coming. And man, I wanted to bring you guys out here today to give my nation some hope, because since I started Project Lights Out, I started my own independent project. I was working TAP with Daniel. He's at the frontier of the TAP program for Oneida. They sent me through training and stuff like that, but I started my own project. Now, when I told the BC to get some balls, that doesn't mean all of them. Mr. Guzman is at every single TAP meeting for the past couple of years. He's also at the forefront with our passive rights with Reggie Hill. It's not a matter of bashing our BC, but internally we need to get along so we can all make a move to get what we need. You know what I mean? And everybody is. The tears fly and it gets passionate because there's lives that are involved. And when you don't see the results that you want to as a mother, as a father, as an addict, you can tell people to, well, you need to start doing this, this, and this, but yeah, they need that extra push. They need that extra hand because they can't do it by themselves. They need that love. They need that debt of love, that brotherly love, that sisterly love, that love that only grandma can give. You know what I mean? And they need that mother and father love, because a mother's love is different than grandma's love. A father's love is different than grandma's love. Each love has its own purest essence. So, man, we got to get in the front lines, people.
This summer I had another student internship that I was working at the Oneida Recreation Center. I was supposed to be teaching these kids stuff, and in my first group, on my first day, I had this little girl asking me if I had a mother. And I said, oh yeah, I have a mother. I said, everybody comes from a mother. And she told me she didn't have a mother. And I find out later on that her mom was an active drug user and she was in and out of jail. The next day, I had another child come to me and ask me if she can tell me something. And I said, yeah, go ahead. I said, you can tell me whatever you want. And she told me about the day her mom and her grandma sat her down and told her that her father passed away. We got children on this reservation that are split up between foster homes, staying with the family that are still active. We got parents, they're split up and they're bashing the other parent, talking the other parent down, even when they're trying to better themselves, and they bring them back down to where they came from already. They need the support. As the weeks went by, I started asking these kids about what they knew about our culture and tradition. And very few of them could tell me anything. I said, well, do you guys dance in the powwows? And they said, yeah. I said, well, you know why you dance? And they said, no, because my mom makes me. So I started laughing. I said, well, hopefully you guys understand. And that brought me to teaching these kids the creation story. Half of these kids that were in the program never even heard the creation story. Half of these kids left our tribal school because of the bullying. It's their home environments that they're learning and they're picking all of this stuff up from. The bullying. I did a project with them that was supposed to be teaching them about privilege, how families are raised different. Some might have better things than others, and some people have to suffer with those going through addiction. And I ended up pulling up more research than I intended. 83% of this group of kids that I had have been affected by drugs and alcohol. 83%.
8 out of 10.
The next is death. They've been affected by loss. Our nation knows that we're affected by trauma. and nobody wants to address it. Everybody just wants to keep quiet. And that's why me and Johnny make a good team, because we're getting loud and I've been loud. And a lot of people don't like me.
But we need that. We need that. You know, and getting them statistics from our children, going in and actually engaging with them. You can go in and shake hands and kiss babies all day, but you know what I mean? They need that love and hug. You know what I mean? Passage of rights, they did that. You know, they went over there. They had a good group of guys that go over there with them. You know, and our men got engaged and our women do too. You know what I mean? And like I said, it takes a community. It takes everybody. You know, we need everybody to work together, internally, externally. You know, everybody, and combat this together. Because some people can help the little guys, give them that extra push to kick crime's ass, to kick drug addiction's ass. But if you want to sit there and not get your hands dirty and be like, no, he's a hothead, this and that, but he gets shit done. That's what it comes down to. Let's see the results. Let's see who's getting it done. You know what I mean? Talkers and walkers. But, you know, the questions and answers. Anybody have any questions for any of them? Anybody? How do we get our own transitional AODA house here in Oneida? It's a good question, right? To start? How did you guys start out getting your own AODA transitional house?
So we started meeting with the executive council, and I encourage you guys to do this. You call me VC, that's what you guys also get stuff done. We say executive council. Our executive council members had their doors like knocked right down every single day. Like, hey, this person's dying. Hey, this is a problem. What are we doing? You know, Forest County Potawatomi Tribe, we have like 3,000 enrolled members. So when one dies, that's a big fucking deal. It's not a joke anymore. So I would encourage that. You know, when you hold these funerals, when you were listing off all these people that help you, go get those members and make them come to them. Make them see their family members hurt and what it's like to watch people bury people every day. Make them dig that grave. You know, they need to learn, they need to feel that, because they won't act, because a lot of people judge until it happens to them, and until they have to go through it, and that's how we got what we got. Our tribal member, his daughter Mandy has been struggling with this since, I want to say like 12, 13 years old, really young. So he knows firsthand, he's raising her kids. She's sober now, thank God, she's coming up on a year, I'm so proud of her. But he dealt with it firsthand. Our vice chairwoman, her nephew, she had to bury her own nephew. She sees this firsthand, among others.
I hope that don't have to happen for our directors to move on this, because the people are going to start getting a voice now. You know, because it's not just the BC. You know, like I said, risk management and other directors too. You know what I mean? But they BC. GM, they could all pass a bunch of stuff, but then you need the other directors to get on board and hire people. So it's everyone again. Every single person together working. And a big question is, where are we going to find the funding? We have a grants department. You know what I mean? We have our own tribe that can, you know, do that stuff. But there has to be a sense of urgency, like I said. And I'm only one man. That's all. Only one guy that you know, try to just get everybody together. You know what I mean? And we definitely need that.
So get a few people together, go to the grants department every single day until you see results. Clear BC, whatever you guys call them. Go to their offices every single day.
Don't take no for an answer.
Get statistics. Get a list of who died. Get their families. Come to these people's door. And if they don't act on this, it's going to be their family that they're burying.
Yeah. I presented a healthy list to some directors. You know what I mean? But it's confidential. I gave a list of 100 plus people, active addicts, chronic gang members, everything. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't care. You know, if you fight me, you're gonna have to fight a whole nation. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about that. But that shows that we have a problem, and how are we addressing it? You know what I mean? That's That's why I'm over here shaking hands with the mayor of Green Bay and, you know, law enforcement, the chief of police, to try to break that. Like, look, man, I don't have to send my gang buddies after you no more. The guys I mess with got real guns. That's the police department. You know what I mean? and they'll get the demo done. But again, though, we only have so much law enforcement for our tribal entity. We're half Brown County and half Outagamie, which is 2 different counties. So it makes it hard for our law enforcement to accurately do their job because of probable cause. You know what I mean? So it's hard. You know, every tribe is different though, you know what I mean? But when I got other tribes reaching out to me to work with me, you know what I mean? It looks kind of jacked up for my own tribe. You know what I mean? It ain't a matter of just giving me a bunch of money. Because I can show the results, the statistics, you know, research and development, all that good stuff. But again, though, I do need a little bit of help. That's why I did this. But again, though, anybody got any questions so they can answer them? Anybody else? If not, then we're going to start the next panel of, you know, our community members. And, you know, Daniel, if you want to get up here too and answer some questions, you can. Give you that option.
I'm gonna ask you where they're going, you know, like what you guys are doing right now, that's where you're gonna make your impact, you know, and you gotta be ready for that, 'cause that's how we started it, with the boots on the ground. When you go meet that addict where they're at, you know, you go meet some kids where they're at, you know, that's what they want, you know. When we started doing this, the max was like, man, it just feels good that you come here and you understand. You sit here and you understand. My mom and my dad don't understand what I'm talking about. You know, and I can sit there and sit with them. You know, I said, well, you ready or what? And, you know, I don't force nobody. I said, you know, I love you. I'll come back and check on you again. You know, you guys need some Narcan in your house? We give Narcan out. But I'd rather have them Narcaning each other, staying alive until when they are ready. You know, and that's part of the boots on the ground that you guys are doing. You know, getting out there in the community. And I guarantee you, you know, it takes time, bro. It takes time, and it takes a lot of heart and time off you and your family.
A year plus I've been doing this for free. You know what I mean? So I'm asking for help. You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. I'm here to ask for a little help. I didn't care if it was gas money. You know what I mean? Whatever. Here, man. Gas money or tobacco.
You know, this is an epidemic that's killing not just Native American people, it's all over. You know, that's what we try in our community. You know, we got 2 residents in Forest County, and we got Forest County right in the middle. You know, we work with the Forest County Coalition. You know, there's a lot of good people out there that want to make a difference. You know, it's 2 tribes coming together with Forest County, working with the Sheriff's Department. We got Wellness Corps. You know, we got Wellness Corps, we got Sober Living, we got Human Services. You just gotta know where your resources are because, yeah, our tribal members, they get the best insurance. They can go out and go to deep treatment. You know, after we get our best numbers is success, is just taking them and putting them out of state. Somewhere where they can just get away and restart their life. You know, there's places up in the mountains that we go, but not everybody can do that. You know, with the insurance and the healing, like you said, you gotta find out works for every person. You know, we do not allow them to hit the street. Like my sister said, we took her right to detox. We picked her up from detox, took her right to treatment, picked her up right from treatment, took her right to sober living, and worked with her, had people with her at our transitional house, you know, sober living. You know, now we have numerous people working in our AODA department, behavioral health. You know, we got psychologists, counselors, you know, and the
Boots on the ground will run everything to all the different behavioral health for us, cultural wellness. Those boots on the ground are extremely critical because we're the guys that are over there talking to the guys with the leaders that are on the ground call. Or, you know what I mean? Thank you. but he was the only one who was really at camp. Ernie Stevens, though, he showed up too. He showed up to like everything.
You gotta be a time. You gotta prepare your people, man. And your leaders need to step up. That's where it's at. You know, you got the community that's involved. Now you just need your leaders, you know, put some damn money away to make a silver living house. Hire on the people you need to save your people.
Yeah.
You know, this person's gonna die. You want your people to die more? That's, you know, that's.
Out to use to show that if we do get the resources that we need, because we do, we have every single thing that we need with it. We have an entity. Cultural wellness, behavioral health, gene writing health. We have everything we need, but we don't have the big resources that we need. A detox, AODA, transitional house. There's plans for it, but you know that's a ways away. You know what I mean? There's just it needs to be something now, and you know it's man, these deaths. That's why I'm fighting so hard. I just buried my little cousin. We went over to her fire. You know, we had to sing for that. And on Facebook, they sent a picture of her with her casket, and then her two daughters were sitting there by their mom like that. That picture, just that would break a grown man down. The two little babies is what hurt my heart. They have to look at their mom and pray over the top of her. They'll never see her again. They'll never get a kiss from her. They'll never get to get walked down the aisle again. None of that. And that's what addiction does, and that's why I'm fighting so hard. You know what I mean? My brother Junior died of heroin. A month later, my cousin Shane died of heroin. So I'm up here. You know what I mean? And you can't get rid of me. A bad hemorrhoid. We're gonna bring up our next panel too. If you guys wanna switch spots real quick, we're gonna let them come up and we're gonna start with Mr. Adams. We have my mom Kim. We also have Daisy. We can bring up Daisy too then.
I just wanted to say something to them, to thank them for coming. I do the community outreach program for the housing units and the social worker there. My daughter and son, of course, like you said, is a drug addict. They would not have figured a beautiful young girl to be a drug addict at 18. They never thought that they have a water and I can say what we've been through our well, for my children, they don't see it, they don't know. So for her to see that, she was saying how pretty she was, like that makes me feel for her to be 17 and learn Catholic school, she's doing all the things, but, it doesn't touch her. It didn't come to part of her life, she doesn't understand. When we went to bring our son home, he was a little bit anxious and he wasn't got things to do. She wanted to get back in the car and wanted to come back because of what you guys have said. I think that's pretty important.
Yup, and that is, man, Daisy too, next week, Thursday is my next show. It'll be at the other VFW, and Daisy Peters, you got voted one of the outstanding women of Oneida. And we're still taking votes until the cutoff line is Wednesday. Tanya McCoxon got one of the outstanding women of Oneida. They voted for Debbie Thundercloud, Teresa Barber, Anita Barber, Amanda Gerondale too. I think she just left though. She got one of the outstanding women of Oneida. Kim Paulus, my mom, got one of the most outstanding women of Oneida, and they're still sending in. I told them to write a paragraph as to why them women would get outstanding women of Oneida, and there's a lot to keep doing. I had to buy all the little plaques and stuff like that. All that. I gotta still keep going. But we got till Wednesday, the cutoff line. So if you wanna send that in. Isabel too, Isabel Parker, she got one of the outstanding women of Oneida too. A third is a bunch of outstanding women of Oneida who are active in the community and good mothers, you know, and you know, they get that. You know, Mary Adams too, I forgot about you, that's my other mother. I love her so much. Like my own mom. That's a powerful women in my corner. You know, that, yeah, they really stepped up, you know what I mean, and can help you. But we're going to try to start this, and if you guys have any questions before we start, we're going to have Sister Talia pray us in. So if you want to come up here real quick and pray us in real quick, that'd be good.
Let time and toxin decrease, Holy Spirit you increase. Heavenly Father, I saturate this place. I thank the Lord for everybody that is here today. I thank you that we're coming in love, unity, and faith. We're going to look beyond our skin color or who believes in what. And that we're going to come together. The Oneida Nation is a powerful nation. Native American people are going to continuously soar like eagles. We are naturally born eagles. We're First Nations people. We're going to take back what the enemy stole. And I pray right now, in the name of Jesus, that no weapon forms against this project or our people shall prosper. And every tongue that rises up against us in judgment shall be condemned. And I loose and I encamp angels to guard, guide, minister, and surround your people, protect them. For he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty Jehovah Jireh. For he's your refuge and fortress, my God, in him will we trust. Surely he shall deliver you all from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. And 1,000 will fall at thy side, 10,000 at the right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. And I thank you, Lord, that the families are going to rise up. The nations, our people are going to rise up. And we're going to come together on one accord. We're going to come together, take back what the devil stole. I come against every addiction, and I break every addiction. I break every stronghold right now in the name of Jesus. I pray a renewing of our people's minds to the mind of Christ. That it's not about a religion, it's about a relationship. And I thank you, Lord, for the fire of God, our Creator, rising up in the First Nations people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
All right, Big Willie.
I don't know how to put behind that fire.
All right. Big baby. Baby. Coming over here, man. Me and SpongeBob.
Real heat right there.
Yep. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
How's everybody? Good.
All right. We're going to have you do an introduction of who you are and, you know, what you're here today for, you know, and giving that extra push to our youth and our young men, and as a father too, you know, and as a son, you know, the things that you've seen and you've been through and are currently dealing with, and all I ask is that you just keep it 100. That's it, 100. That's all I want. This is true. So I'm gonna hand the mic over to you, and I love you, and I'm gonna definitely let you do this from here.
I hope you guys don't mind. I already talked loud enough, I think. My leg is hurting, so hope you don't mind. I'll sit down a little bit, a little older now. I don't even know where to begin, other than to say you guys are correct in what you're doing. You know what I mean? Coming together, getting rid of these black eyes that are, you know, ruining families' lives and nations. And I wasn't raised out here, but I am from out here. I was raised in Riverside, California. And where I was raised at, drugs were like your pants. Alcohol was like gas that you put in your car. You know what I mean? It was one and the same. I say beer, but I mean alcohol was cheaper than water. It was easier to go to jail than it was to go to school. They actually give you a ride to jail. You can't get a ride to school, you know what I mean? I guess my aspirations as a young guy, you would think, you want to be like your father, because I grew up with both parents. And you think you want to be like your father. But I had a group of fellas that hung out down the street. And a group of fellas ended up, I guess, I don't know, I can't even call them a gang because they're family members. But there's so many of them that they were referred to as a gang, a street terrorist group. And I came to immortalize them because they had such a stronghold on the community. Not that the community couldn't come out in and out of the house like, the stuff you see on TV with the Cabrini Greens and stuff you see in movies like Nino Brown. But they had a lot on the community as far as outsiders. If you were an outsider, you had to check in. If you didn't check in, there was consequences to pay. All through these, years of my life, I really didn't pay attention to the outcome of what it'll be today. I ain't asked to, I didn't ask to be here, but I'm here. I didn't ask to be cursed with such hostility and anger, but I am. But my hostility and anger was directed in the wrong direction. It was directed at people who talk, spoke, act, walk, just like me. And I didn't realize that until I came and finally moved out here, got away from the California lifestyle. I call it like a boot camp. It's a training facility in California. They're raising you to go to prison. And though things have changed in California, there's a lot of more opportunities now. A lot of things haven't changed in California, and that's the politics, the prejudices, the prejudiced people that are there, the power structure that's going on, and the crazy influx of, drugs and alcohol, and it's like a fuel for violence and trauma. You ever watch Die Hard 1 and 2 and 3? Hey, that's the addiction. As closely as I can, point it out. I wasn't addicted to the drugs. I think I was addicted to the drama. The gang activity was real prevalent. Every day, that's what we did. Lift weights, geared up, or put in some work. Every day. And even though I had parents, I followed rules, but my dad didn't play no games at all. None. I had, like most kids, I had a curfew. The difference was my friends didn't have a father. So they would hang around me to get a little bit of guidance from my father, a little bit of guidance that he had because he didn't have a father. I knew as a young age, way back what I wanted to be, and I wanted to be. No one told me that gangsters don't have no 401k, no retirement. My leg hurt now. Barely move around now. I'm afraid to walk around with a cane because I don't want to get caught slipping. By someone in the past that I've heard. Because like I said, I've lived a destructive life. And it's about time for change. When we look at other communities that have, actually achieved this type of change, it makes us desire. We want this. We need this. You know what I mean? And I know I'm not the only one that's praying and asking for help. You know what I mean? I got issues within my home household, my own family. And this brings us, right along to where we at right now, to the head of everything. And if this is to what it's going to be, then as far as, you know, people dying over things that could be prevented, I don't know. That's what I don't want that up. You know, you can put that to the back. You know what I mean? I'm a true advocate for the youth of our community. You know what I mean? I honestly believe that if we don't give them something to do today, they'll end up doing what we did yesterday. You dig what I'm saying? And it's a daily struggle when you, I didn't want to, you know, I really don't want to touch on it, but the person died. You know what I mean? And I say in my custody, you know what I'm saying, in my home. And it crushed and devastated, you know, a lot of people. It affected a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, it's like a little fog has been cast over my little family, my little unit. You know what I mean? I can't get rid of it. I can't shake it. You know what I mean? And it's a continuous, ongoing machine. You know what I mean? My mother's home. I'm blessed to have her mom. I'm blessed. Appreciate it. I'm great, you know, multiple times because of me. I got a jail record. Embarrassing when she goes and sees her.
Was that from drugs, alcohol, what?
Everything, drugs, alcohol, you know, as they call mayhem, you know, my attitudes towards, you know, people in power, you know what I mean? I didn't have a good relationship with police, you know what I mean? And that was different when I came here. And I don't know how to, explain that other than the fact that maybe some of them is cool.
Yeah,
and I mean the police.
It becomes normal though, to where when we're in the streets or the hood, you know, we don't mess with the police. You know what I mean? That's what we're taught. That's what we see. You know, every time that we're in. That's because we're wreaking mayhem on the community, selling drugs. And we have no respect for human life. And me too. I brought the Secret Service to my mom's house for counterfeit money. They were looking for me for murders, you know, everything. You know what I mean? And unless you really live that life, and you know, you're never gonna know what it's like to be an addict or to be a gang member or to, man, it's hard. It's like telling a lawyer, a doctor telling a lawyer how to practice law. It's impossible. They're just in a different world. But
this is the right positioning time for someone who wanted to build a gang empire to come and take over. There's a void that's begging to be filled that we all in this community know about. They're taking a lot of people about the community, but this is the time when, you know,
we're vulnerable.
Right.
Our community.
Right. Very susceptible to have someone come in here and set up shop and turn this place into an all-out war zone. You know what I mean? Simply because we don't have no structure in place to prevent them from being more attractive than what we have to offer. We don't have anything to offer. We don't have no programs that are geared specifically towards that generation of children I'm speaking at. There's nothing for them to do, so I've taken it upon my own to take my kid, and, you know, my nephews and what other kid wants to get involved in this football. You know, I don't know what else to do. You know what I mean? I can only teach them some of the good things of my youth.
Yeah, my son is running the streets right now, helping everybody else, but my own son is running the streets. And you know why I keep it? Because I'm supposed to keep it 100 in what I do. Yep, my son is running the streets. You know, about a week and a half, 2 weeks. But me though, I did everything humanly possible to try to help my son. Leading by example. Community editing. And sometimes though, you just get rebellious children. And all I can do is pray for my son because I went to him. You know, won't tell me where he's at or what he's doing. But on this show, we're supposed to keep it 100. You know what I mean? And that's what we're supposed to do. And I'm struggling just like every single other person out there. Addiction. When I get pissed off, hell yeah, I want to go drink. Hell yeah, I want to go use cocaine. But that inner battle, some of us can handle it better than other people. You know, we're stronger right now at the points in our lives, and we need to help those out, give them the extra hand that are not stronger. You know, and lift each other up, man, because you feel like you have the weight of the world on your back a lot of times, and not everybody's back is strong. If you got a strong back, help people. You know what I mean? And it's simple, you know. But yeah, one more question for you too. I got a bunch of questions for you actually. What do you want to see for our tribe as far as resources or togetherness?
I guess I would like to see more, cohesiveness with the civic, things that we already have in place, utilize them a little bit more, include some of your kids you got out here and a lot more of these events, you know what I mean? Every kid don't want to go to college. Just keep that in mind, you know what I mean? And every kid doesn't want to sit at home and play video games. You know what I mean? You got people like myself. I'm interested in sports. I used to play sports. Very active in it.
I see that.
You know what I mean? I just picked a different avenue, but I like it as a reliever of stress.
Yep, it does help working out. I'm 204 too, guys. I'm gaining a little weight too, so bond paid for it. But yeah, I think the rec center, or the civic center, it needs. We're gonna be doing a fundraiser next month, 3-on-3 basketball tournament. For that, well, it's 3-on-3, then you get another sub. But we're gonna be doing that next month, and we're gonna give 25% to the civic center too to fix our doors. And some whatever else. I don't know if they got fixed yet, but I put in something last month. I talked to both of the workers, Jay Martinez and stuff like that. They've been trying to get it fixed, but I let who I was supposed to let know to fix it. But either way, it'll get done now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give 25% off of that next month too to try to fix the doors up in our bathroom and whatever else is in there. Yeah, we're gonna be doing that too. But man, Chuki, what was the most critical time in your life when you felt like you hit rock bottom as to where you were feeling like giving up?
A couple times. Before I moved to from California, I called my parents. I told them I had to leave. And I wasn't truthful about me having to leave, why I had to leave. And I ended up leaving. They sent me a ticket to come out here. But that was one of the lowest points. I had nowhere else to go. The police was against me. My girl, the community, other enemies of my source. That's a lot of people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it got overwhelming. And I had to go. You know what I mean? I talked it over with my parents, my father, and my grandfather, and I stood out. You know what I mean? Came out here and I just brought that same mentality with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's been the downfall, been the demise of, a lot of positive things I wanted to do.
And you still can, Chuki.
But I'm gonna tell you, now that I think about it, yeah, the last time was my daughter telling me, she's 15 by the way, every year of her life I've been locked up for at least 6 months. And she just asked me, this last time I went to jail was about a year ago.
That's the longest I've been out was a year.
I went to jail because,
Feel good.
something that happened up the street here anyway. I'm actually still going to court, still fighting because I'm accused of something I didn't do, and that's 100% honest. But she asked me that, and that was a turning point. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I feel you. I hear you. What I actually said to her, I hear you. You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying. I hear you. I feel you. You know, I told her quite honestly, I'm gonna try my damn. I'm gonna try my best. You know what I mean? I'm not a stupid guy, and I know when it's time. I know when it's time to change. Yeah. All right. And I could dig. The devil dig.
Yep, and we're gonna try to make change together, all of us, you know what I mean? And we need our men to tell their stories, you know, and our women are strong women that are willing to step out and make it happen, you know what I mean? And man, thank you so much for coming on Project Lights Out, Chuki, Willie Adams. And we're gonna do questions and answers too, real quick, unless there's something else you have to say.
Thank you all for showing up. I appreciate it. You know, if you ever see something like this going on in the community, please get involved.
Yeah, there we go. Let's give Chuki a hand. Anybody have any questions? Gangs. I think that's what that touched on. Because we had Project Lights Out is for gangs and drugs. Alcohol is just like a drug. It's been polluting our people for quite some time. You know, you're not the same person when you do drink. You're a whole different person. You stink like liquor, and that might scare the kids. I remember that's how I knew that Grandma and Grandpa were coming around was when I would smell them when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And you know that trauma. You know, and the gangs. That's what I'm combating. We have a gang coordinator from Oneida. She does some programs, you know what I mean? But maybe she just needs a little more help, and we're gonna step up here at Project Lights Out, and I do a lot of gang stuff. That's my main thing, is to combat gangs, from manipulation techniques on your kids. You know, them trying to mold your kids and take away their cultural identity or their faith, and they'll instill it in them because they have a faith that they believe in also. You know, it's supposed to be to protect and preserve your community, but then you're selling your community heroin and hard-based drugs. That's not protecting and preserving a community at all. That's poisoning your community. You're killing your people, you know what I mean? And there's nothing positive that comes out of being a gang member. I gave 15 years to the system from being a gang member. And I asked all the gang members that's watching this, what is the purpose of a gang member?
To protect your neighborhood.
But if you heard what I just said though, are they protecting and preserving their people by polluting them with drugs? When they first started out, they were getting federal funding through Illinois or California. They had it big time, you know what I mean? They had a lot. The government was they gave them a lot of funding actually. They backed them for a while. But then the killing started, and, you know, getting greedy and stuff, and then it just spiraled downhill. You know, they had to protect their neighborhoods, so they say. But it was RICO Act, everything. The killing, rape, everything. There's no limits. You have no respect for human life whatsoever, at all. It's the law against the lawless. The police, though, they don't know that. You can put 100 different laws, policies, and procedures together, get different injunctions for the gang members, everything. But the condition of the human heart is what it comes down to. They need to learn how to love again. You know what I mean? And be like, man, damn, I'm really doing this to my people. Like, I'm over here selling my little nephew, man, 50 bag, bam. 2 for 25, 4 for 50. You know what I mean? He's out there. Oh, I got a 4 split for you, little bro. Here, just bring me this back. I was that guy. You know what I mean? I was him. I was one of the biggest drug dealers. So what are they gonna say? Oh man, he don't know what they talk about. Dog. I'm not worried about what you think about me, man. I was doing it. I was that guy that was selling your guys' kids drugs. Now I'm that guy that's like, stop selling our kids drugs. You know? We need our men to step up. But with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Kim, my mom. We're going to ask her some hard questions from me, you know. So.
He's like his mom, he likes the microphone. But my name is Kim Paulus. I am the mother of Johnny. I'm a mother, daughter, auntie, sister, and also grandmother. What Johnny is saying is actually, really correct. He was out there in the streets, and there was times when I said, you need to stay away from your little brother. Where his little brother, I told him, I told Johnny to stay away from him because I didn't want his little brother in a gang and, doing things and stuff like that. So there was times where, I had to really make some hard choices, between one son and the other. But, and a lot of times in my life, I've had to make them choices when it came to my children. I mean, I've been through so much that I give God all the glory for the endurance that I've been able to go through. Because without God's strength, I mean, there'd be no way that I could possibly handle, the anxiety and the stress and everything that comes along with it. But that's where I get my strength as a mother, is from God. Also, too, I think it's really important, too, that we hang on to hope and faith and keep praying for your kids. We all go through stuff as parents, and now I'm learning now to parent my children in a different way, to parent my children as young adults versus, I still get kind of bossy with them yet, I'm working on that. But we have to parent our children differently. I'm the person, too, that where I would go knock on doors to mama's houses where their kids were strung out on drugs, and I would pray with that crying mom and let her know, don't give up. Don't give up. Your child is still in there, but don't give up. Keep praying for them. Keep doing what you need to be doing for your child, because they are still in there. And I talk to all the drug addicts out there too, because there is help available for you, and your children still are in there. Their spirit is being attacked right now in that spiritual warfare, in that spiritual realm. And that's really actually, people need to have a spiritual foundation, because if you don't have that spiritual foundation, you're going to fall for anything, and you're going to keep wavering right and left, and you're going to be led by emotions where, if you're upset or whatever, you're going to want to go do drugs or get drunk or whatever. But if you get those emotions intact and not be led by your emotions, and get your mind, your mind in the place where it needs to be, because I firmly believe in prayer definitely works for me. It's worked, it kept my children alive. I really give God all the glory, because without God and prayer as a mother, some of my children might not even be here. But there was a time I want to share with you, one of my children, we're on drugs, and I'm a praying mom. I pray all the time for my children. I pray for their past, their present, and their future. We need to keep them in prayer, and we need to speak positive things over them, and not just say, oh, here comes that, drunk or whatever. No, we need to speak positive things over them. And this one time that I just want to kind of share with you guys is what happened was I was sleeping, and all of a sudden, the Holy Spirit, I sat up in my bed, and I was in a sound sleep. I was the only one home. I sat straight up in my bed, and I knew that my child was in danger. I knew that something, I don't know where he was, what he was doing, what was going on, but I knew in those moments I had to get up and start praying for my child, because I didn't know what was happening. And a lot of times, like I said, and I'll always go back to that, and I'll always stand on it, that prayer does work for everybody. It might not be according to the things that we want, but it will be according to God's will, and that we need to just kind of move forward and really pray for them. But anyway, back to that topic. I got a little off topic. But back to that situation, I sprung up in the middle of my bed, and I just started walking through my house, and I just kept praying and praying and praying for my child. And this particular child, he was sleeping on the couch, and I would be over him when he was sleeping. He would come home drunk or whatever, and I'd be over him praying as a praying mother over my child, and he'd wake up all startled. He's like, oh, Mom, you creep me out when you do that. I go, no, son, I need to be praying for you. So I think, that's really some of the things that really work for me as a parent, when your children are struggling. There's been a lot of things too. I had to, and I pretty much raised Johnny's little guy too, because Johnny was always in and out of prison, and we went through a lot of hardship with that, and this last time that he was there, it was really, really hard for me to see my child there in maximum. And it was really hard. I came out of there all the time for about 2 weeks straight. I was crying and I was heartbroken and I was worried and, the anxiety and everything just, and I went there and my son was locked up and he was chained to, to this room, this big glass window. You can't touch him when they first get there or nothing. But he was chained literally to his hands, chained down his hands and his feet. And I remember he had to scratch his head on the wall like this because, his head had a little itch or whatever. But I was just so broken. But through all that, my son was there and he was able to counsel me and tell me, Mom, it's gonna be okay, Mom, it's gonna be okay. But I mean, just things like that you wouldn't expect, you wouldn't expect us to go through as parents, but sometimes we need to, And as far as, and I always told my kids too, is show me your friends and I'm gonna show you your future. Because that's true. We have to surround ourselves with positive people. We have to surround ourselves with like-minded people that have the same kind of goals, to have things in common with you. They don't need to be there drinking with you and partying. A true friend is someone that you're going to be able to cry to, and they're going to pray for you, and they're going to help you through it. Not somebody that wants to run out there and party. I was in the streets. I was in the streets partying and being a wreck and causing havoc, and, my daughter would be like, Mom, it's 10 o'clock, and then I knew 10 o'clock, get my, a few little friends out of the house, and we'd head out, But I was like that. I was that person, and I knew that it had to start with me. To have a good foundation and a good home, it had to start with me. To make that change, to make new rules in the house. And one time, I see Tone back there, and that always reminds me, because one time him and Johnny came, and they thought they were going to sit in my living room after I was already done drinking and, being in the streets. They thought they were going to come sit and be cool and have a 12-pack. Nope. And that big giant, I chased him out and I told him he had to leave. And I told Johnny if he didn't like the rules, he can go with him. And then Chucky also, there was another time too, him and one of his brothers came over and I had to chase them out. He came looking like a pimp. They were all trying to go out. And I was like, I go, aren't you on paper yet too? You shouldn't even be going out either. Because a lot of the women too in the community, they call me Mama Kim. They call me Mama Kim because I'll scold them, I'll get after them, and I'll tell them, man, you could be doing better, you need to start making some changes. And that's the first step too, because a lot of time we're comfortable. We're comfortable in our own sloth, and we don't want to make any type of changes. And when we're feeling aggravated we need to look within ourselves. Now, why is that little bitty thing that this person did, why is it causing me to get angry? Why am I angry? Why am I upset? So the first thing we need to do is also look within ourselves and make changes. Even if it's a little bit of change. But don't stay the same that you were yesterday. Make a little bit of change each and every single day. We're never going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. But make a little bit of progress, every single day. And then, like I said, too, we need to hang around those like-minded people. The dealers out there, they do try to groom our young kids. I know I heard of a story where this particular dealer, he start focusing in on these young Potawatomi girls because they get a huge trust account, or their 18 money. They get a huge bunch of money. So this guy started focusing in, this dealer I had heard, focusing in on this young girl. And by the time she got her tribal money, she already had owed him thousands and thousands of dollars. Now she was addicted, and she had a baby and things like that. And her life has just spiraled downhill ever since. And we see that over and over again in our community where a lot of people don't notice that, but a lot of grandmas are taking care of their children's children while they're away in treatment or they're in jail because of their actions. Now they have consequences. But when Johnny asked the question earlier about what would we like to see being done, I want to just piggyback what Chucky had said I would like to see myself, as far as the treatment and thing, make a place available for them when they come home and they want to get their kids back and they want to live a clean and sober life. You know, make a little fund available for them to have gas cards so we can get them up there to treatment. You know what I mean? Things like that, that's the little bit of things that let them know that there's hope once they make that big decision to go to treatment, that there is hope when they get out, that you're not going to be homeless. You know, let them know that, you know, we got you, we're going to help you, we're going to see you through this from the beginning to the end. Because it is a community thing. The family does need to get involved. And, you know, we just need to really move forward as a community and really get things done, because that's the only way. You know, once the heart changes, the mind is going to change. When I pray for my kids, I pray for their heart. Because once their heart can start changing and molding, then their mind is going to follow along, because the battle is up here in the mind. And wherever we go, wherever the mind goes, that's where we're going to go. So if we can get the mind corrected, then we could probably get a little bit better, more results. So that's kind of how the long, you know, and you know, too, back in the day too, not long ago, when I was going through that with one of my children, I found myself in a codependency class. I mean, I'm like, I got there and I'm like, what am I doing here? But I found myself in a codependency class because it was getting overwhelming. I was embarrassed and I was ashamed to let anybody know that this was happening in my family. But once I got past that and I started reaching out to my prayer warriors, and I'm like, hey, I need some prayer. Be in agreement with me with this, you know, because I need help. It got overwhelming for me as a parent. And that's, you know, once we start getting the heart right and the mind will follow and start shaping and, you know, choosing friends. And I encourage people too, stay off that Facebook. You know, that to me, that's like a demon gateway if you're not using it correctly to inspire people or whatever. But if you're just going on there flapping it and, you know, plotting and things of that sort, then stay off that Facebook, because that to me is a gateway. It's a gateway if people don't use it correctly. Another thing too, I wanted to let you guys know too, I see firsthand too what these kids are going through as far as the domestic abuse, the drugs, and all that falls into place when that family home unit does not have a foundation. Let's see. And the other thing too is, what are they seeing? And that's what I asked too. That's what I asked some people too. What do you think your children are seeing? What are you putting forth? You know, when you got people coming in and out of your house all hours of the night and things like that, what are you really bringing into your home? Because when we allow all this stuff even into our homes too, I believe those are spirits. Them are bad spirits, and they're following you. Until you can conquer that, you know, and my way is my Lord Jesus. You know, He's my Savior. But until we can get that conquered, then it's going to keep being the same effect. The other thing too is, you know, I'm always here too if anybody wants, you know, to talk or whatever. I'm always game for coffee. I do a lot of mentorship with mamas and sisters and, you know, aunties, grandmothers, all that. But I'm always here. And one thing I had to tell one of my relatives too, I'm like, do you have your burial insurance in order? And they looked at me and I'm like, do you have, and me and Johnny talked about this, and I thought this was so cruel to say to someone, but then, you know, we got to keep it real. So when I asked this person, do you have your burial insurance in order? And they looked at me. I said, yes, because death is next. If you don't get off that heroin, if you don't put them drugs down, death is next for you. So we have to keep those hard facts out there. And sometimes, and another thing, a lot of parents, they make this mistake. I'm not the best parent. I don't want to stand up here and pretend that I am, because I have a lot of room to grow. I have a lot of learning to do, and I'm learning now to parent my adult children in a different way, but still have to be firm sometimes. But I'm learning to parent them in a different way. But, you know, and that's the thing. We do have all kinds of groups. I was looking through this heroin anonymous thing. There's almost 15 support groups all around the area that a person can reach out and get help. Also, I'm just going to do a shout out here. Monday through Friday, 9 to 12 at Behavioral Health. The phone number is 490-3860. They have the same day substance abuse care. For those seeking treatment for addiction, there's no appointment needed. You must be there by 10 o'clock. And then they'll help you. And then we'll also try to find the funds, Johnny's area, we'll try to find the funds, to get you guys up there. Also too, I'm going to be having underneath the Project Lights Out, probably like a teen. I usually do like a little girls mentorship group and a women's Bible study and things like that. But you'd be really surprised how much people are really hurting. There's a lot of people that's really hurting out there. And I think once we can get in touch with these feelings and identify them, then they can be worked on. And then you can bring it to surface and start dealing with them, because that's what we need to do. Also too, and I think another important thing is the prison ministry. We also did an outreach through Soldiers of Jesus Christ for the prison ministry. We have to reach those folks. It was co-ed for male and women. Just to send them out little cards and let them know that they're not forgotten. We don't care what their crime was. We don't care what their crime was. But we just sent little cards and let them know, hey, you're not forgotten. Just because you're there locked up behind bars, you still have a purpose and you can still start again. Because everything, I believe too in this life, everything that any of us been through, it's not going to be wasted. It's going to be used for God's glory. Whether you're what kind of mission you're on or what assignment you're doing or whatever, but it's not going to be wasted. Because every single one of us has a life experience to share with someone else. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to share, that with you and let you know that things are, getting very much better, within my family unit. We do have some family people out there that are still struggling yet, and we're just trying to get them into treatment and, get their heart right and their mind right, because it needs to start there. So that's kind of basically what all I have to say at this point, and I'm always open for questions, ideas. If you guys have any ideas how we can go ahead and make this program, Project Lights Out, better, we're definitely open to suggestions, comments, ideas. And yeah, I guess that's about it. But I just want to let everybody know that, we can get the help, work together as a community, and that's really how we're going to do things, So, yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mother? All right. Well, ladies, that's Wednesday. We're gonna have our group. We're gonna have our drum practice there. We're gonna have kind of I want to do kind of like an assignment to see where you guys fit in to Project Lights Out, whether it's with the youth, whether it's with the elderly, and helping them, and see how we can kind of accommodate every part of everything. You know what I mean? The elderly, the youth, the addicts, gang members. If you want to work a project, you can come Wednesday, and that's the day before my next show. And my next show is not going to be here. It's going to be up at the other VFW up there for Wednesday and Thursday. Again, up there. That's, what is that, Veteran Services? Yeah, in Riverdale. Yep, it's right by the one stop. But our next and the last guest is Michael Williams, or Gizik, everybody. Let's give Gizik a hand. Thank you too, Mom.
She was trying to work full time and go to school and take care of it. At the time, which was me and my brother, which I never knew I had at the time. And well, she gave me to different certain family members throughout my life. But being a kid, I didn't understand. I just thought she didn't want me. I didn't know she was doing that to better us. reminded her that every time I knew she was going out, that she would come back and she would leave me. So I'd go hide under the bed. You know, so long. So, I remember my mom sending money as I really thought about it, because my mom sent me money for them to take care of me. And she would buy all kids nice things, you know, and I always got them. Well, when these kids got to play with these toys, my mom actually sent money to me, you know, to take care of me. I'd have to watch them play. You know, it's time for me to play. It's time to play. So I grew up learning how to have fun watching other kids have fun. And so I was used to that growing up. You know, and then she finally gave me to another family member, Lucy's mom, one of them. She gave me to my uncle. And he was going through a marriage problem. So he didn't get me back. Struggling house to house. So she finally gave me to my Aunt Nana, which I grew up calling Mom. She took the utmost care, you know, bought me new things, you know, my mom's money to take care of me. You know, and that's when I finally knew I had a brother. I didn't know I had a brother. But I was still used to all my family, like all my other family. My uncle was a drug dealer at the time. Took care of a lot of, you know, my mom's side of the family. So I used to always watch them go on road trips, you know, Arizona, and I never got to go. I was like the outside, you know. So to this day, I feel like that. You know, I was like the outsider, and so that's to the point where I started to get old enough to know, you know, there's gangs out there, and I joined the gang. You know, I got highly involved in the gang. That's how that was in this gang. And I called shots. I hurt a lot of people in my life. I just grew up around violence all my life, and I didn't know any difference. And started selling drugs, and I started poisoning our own people. You know, I'm not proud of that. So, growing up, you know, I got really involved, and I finally started drinking. You know, I was always putting my anger to the side, holding it in. You know, and got so involved, I started calling shots, calling hits on other people. And that I'm not proud of, you know. I just look back and see a lot of people that I hurt. You know, I can consider myself one of the lucky ones that I got out when I did. I didn't end up getting. I didn't end up like my brother Cody died 2 great brothers. And I walked away. I got a 10-year-old daughter that I take care of. And I want to thank my husband for helping me. And I'm still learning myself too. I'm learning. But I tell you one thing, I refuse to go back to using drugs, and I refuse to go back to doing violence.
It definitely is possible, you know, and you know that inner battle that you fought with, you know what I mean? That's one of the biggest things, you know what I mean? Like, go against your homeboys, you know, you gotta go against everything that you were taught, you know what I mean? It's hard, man. It's definitely hard, but you're doing it. That's good, bro. I love you, man. Yeah.
No, I just, you know, I just want to thank my mother. She passed away from cancer. You know, my uncle passed away. And just recently, my sister passed away. Now I'm really close. But when we got her back, I want to make my family proud. I want to make everybody proud. I want to work against gangs, you know, and show them that there's another way.
We're gonna reach,
I can just change one of these life. You want to
we're looking for guys, you know, to come and help out, you know, to step up, and our warriors, you know, we want you to, and we love you guys, you know, we love this community, and, you know, that's what this shows, man. We got a nice turnout, and, you know, I'm not worried about numbers, I'm worried about starting to take action.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main thing, is taking that action, and Wednesday, if everybody, whoever wants to get involved, Wednesday I'm gonna be meeting up there like I said, and you know, we're looking for our men and women to come so we can start coming together, and you know, we could do 100 different marches, you know what I mean, but you know, I just wanna kind of get us together, get everybody rehabilitated and in the right frame of mind with a good mind. But yeah, you know, next show is Thursday, so if you guys have any questions, now is the time to answer. And man, Oneida, I love you so much. And man, we gotta do this. I'm gonna put my heart and soul into it, and you know, we just gotta keep going, Oneida, and we gotta heal. We all have to heal. That's where it starts out with, you know, it's healing that love, and you know, and coming back to who you are. That's not you when you're fighting that, you know, that addiction is taking over, you know, and then being a gang member, you know, we want the best for you. And I'm not asking everybody to do what I do, because what works for me ain't gonna work for you. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, just you know, feel free to ask them. If not, we'll, yep.
For those of us like myself who aren't opiate users or addicts, the signs of opiate abuse are that similar to alcohol, for those people that don't know. Ramifications upon the brain is that of alcohol. It's the same way. It takes over and it changes the brain. A lot of people, like myself, I tend to believe that, you know, you could be done in that state. You know what I mean? But that's a misconception on my part.
Yeah.
This is where, you know, I need the same help that you guys in the community get when it comes to recognizing and dealing with it, because I'm not one for too much bullshit. You know, I apologize. I got my kids in there too. I'm not one, you know what I mean, to tolerate for that.
So the biggest thing is that it's a choice. Well, you can tell that to your pharmaceutical companies, who are a lot of times the biggest drug dealers in the United States.
Sometimes.
The drugs, and then when you're, well, me, I broke my femur, and then they prescribed me Percocet. They know I could get addicted to Percocet. So then there I am, north side of Milwaukee, addicted to drugs, going from pharmacist to pharmacist, because I didn't think that I could ever walk right again, because I had a broken femur, and they're like, you're not going to fight ever again, you know, you're going to have to walk with a crutch. So I started doing my own physical therapy, poured my pills down the drain, and went through my withdrawals. I thought I was going to die. My whole body was on fire. I thought I was going to have a seizure when I was sitting there kicking my feet on the bed. That's all I remember, kicking my feet, like moaning and saying that I wanted to die. You know what I mean? Like, man, that was the worst feeling in my life. My body was on fire. I felt like I had spiders crawling all over me. I wanted to run out the damn door like I was on fire. You know, until you go through that, it's going to be hard for anybody to say, you know what, man, that's just a choice. I'm like, man, who are you? You don't know what I'm going through, man. You be on the other end once. So yeah, it's definitely something that when people are depressed, when they're at their lowest a lot of times, you know, they might start using, you know what I mean? So, and it's hard to get off of it, man. They'll steal, sometimes kill, you know, all kinds of stuff to get that fixed a lot of times. I went to pharmacy, You know what I mean? And if I couldn't find it in the pharmacy, I'll go to the dealers. You know, so we could take all the drug dealers away and all the gang members, but then they'll just go to Chicago or Illinois. Rehabilitation versus incarceration. You need to know, again, like I said, the chronic versus the ones who are just the addicts. You got two different kinds, you know what I mean? The ones who are selling it and then the ones who are just need to be rehabilitated, because not everything needs to be locked up. But with that being said, any questions? If not, I'm going to close it up. And thank you, everyone, for helping Project Lights Out. Thank you, Stone Lake for coming. Thank you, Daniel Guzman for coming. Everybody. Jason Peters, she made it happen too.